Gusto mo bang matuto ng agribusiness, crops, livestock and poultry, aquaculture, at ma-inspire sa mga success stories? Agribusiness How It Works! As a YouTube channel, Agribusiness features entrepreneurs, farmers, organizations, OFWs, investors. However, beyond our usual content and official endorsements, Agribusiness does not engage in other business dealings with them. While our viewers and featured individuals and entities may choose to pursue business deals with each other on their own, we encourage them to be cautious in doing so.
This session is for the youth, so I would like to see the faces and hands of the youth in the room. May I see? Young people, the youthful ones. Ayan, ang dami naman pala. Kaya nga pala sinabi na ang Pilipinas ay isa pang young population. Without further ado, let us have our question for the both of our speakers today. May I just ask one very important question. Social media and education as part of our topics are often viewed as moods. Sa Gen Z term, it's mutuals. Two things are mutuals, but oftentimes lacks the vibe or coherence. So I would like to add Gen Z references. So, moving forward in this age where disinformation is rampant, how can these things be strategically combined to engage the youth and build a long-term interest in urban agriculture?
Well, yung advantage ng young people, hindi mo sila kalantuan to use social media. Aral na aral sila. Alam na alam nila paano gamitin. So, kailangan lang talaga mai-convert yon into opportunity na gamitin sa livelihood, sa business. Yeah, basically.
Thank you very much for that, sir. No, learning ng mga kabataan, we already have the skills, so I'm training with. We have the skills, let's capitalize it. Moving forward, yes, sir.
If I may add sa sinabi ni Sir Pat. So, a while ago, Sir Pat said, you mentioned during 6 p.m., that's the time na talagang mataas yung engagement in social media. So I think social media can be a tool. It can be a tool to convince you to be involved in agriculture or to be involved in our sector. Kasi very influential si social media. And ang laki ng impact niya and ang laki ng kanyang convincing factor to you. So much as well, we can utilize that as our tool to connect with them. So I think that's the edge, or that is where we can use it as an advantage in convincing or in influencing our youth kung ano man yung purpose or kung ano man yung objective na gusto natin makuha sa kanila.
Thank you very much for that, Sir Cristo. Very insightful at for sure, ma-appreciate ng ating mga kabataan. So, before I ask more sa ating audience, I have one individual question each po sa inyo para mas personal din. Going back to you, Sir Buddy, as an advice po sa ating mga content creators na gustong mag-pursue din, siguro I myself included, baka bumalik ako after this. So what are the potential challenges po na na-identify natin, and in terms of yung balancing yung entertainment value, yung educational value, and syempre yung validity po ng information natin. Yung, kung tama po ba yung naihahain po natin on the table when promoting agriculture to the youth audiences, and paano po natin siya as manage?
Well, actually, ano siya talaga going back doon sa sinabi ko kanina na you need to understand yung audience at yung niche, no? Kung ano kasi yung content na, let's put it this way, hindi kasi pwedeng gagawa ka ng content for everybody. That will not work. So, kung gusto mong gumawa ng content na about agriculture, kailangan mo talagang intindihin sino yung magpo-consume noon. at ano yung, kung naintindihan kung sino yung magpo-consume, asan sila. Okay. So if you want to target the younger generation, alam natin, nandun sila sa TikTok. So kung nandun sila sa TikTok, alam natin na short form lang ang pwedeng gawin. So, yun lang, short form na maibigay mo yung message mo for them. Not necessarily tatanggapin niya kagad yun. But at least, no, tumaan dun sa feed niya yung information na yun. Kasi pag magbibigay ka ng information sa isang tao, kailangan niyang ma-encounter yung information na yan 7 times bago pumasok sa utak niya yung information na yun. Doon pa lang siya magre-react para gawin yung isang bagay. So, yun, kailangan natin maintindihan sino yung target audience natin at asan sila, then yun yung gagawin natin.
Thank you for pointing that out, sir. No? As minsan sa pang-araw-araw talagang you really have to regard content as something you consume, and that is something we can have an advantage of kung tayo po ay nasa agriculture sector. So yun po kaya inask din namin yung question dahil I believe marami po dito mga farmers who have very good stories who would also like to follow the footsteps of Sir Buddy. By the way, pwede bang malaman lang kung meron na po ba ditong na-feature sa YouTube channel ni Sir Buddy? Ayun, meron na on that side, no? Kaya siguro baka matanong ng ating anchors over there. So thank you for that, sir. Now, next time, or this time, I would like to go back to Sir Chris. So, ang dami po namin natutunan, no? Lalo na yung mga terms on hygiene. Actually, I remember, I was actually mentored by Miss Vicky in one of our trainings. Sir Matt also is our mentor. But building off from your industry experience, so what doable mechanisms po yung pwedeng i-adapt? I'm like linking this into what the public sector can learn from something that you've learned in your experience para po mas maging effective yung mga youth programs natin in agriculture as a whole.
Okay. As I mentioned, if we have some members here who are also working in Japanese company, maybe they will understand because if you are working in Japanese company, Kaizen is always number one. Because a Japanese company, they do not become satisfied with any improvement. They always look, they always aim to continuously improve. So this kind of mindset, this kind of concept, if we can apply in our agriculture, I think this will give us more benefit. Because as I mentioned earlier, when we study Philippine agriculture, there's a lot of improvement that we need to instill. However, because of our lack of Kaizen mind, we hinder the improvement of Philippine agriculture. So if only we can adapt the Japanese Kaizen mind and apply it in agriculture, I think that will be the best situation for our agriculture.
Thank you for that, sir. No? At first, very simple lang na concept ng Kaizen, pero hirap gawin, especially on a daily basis. And it's a good reminder to everyone, going back, of course, not only the public sector, to continuously search for improvement para talagang ma-address as a dynamic field ang ating agriculture. So, thank you for that, Sir Chris. So, I'm yielding the floor to our audience. Again, we are both on here, and meron tayo online viewers, and I'm calling for the youth to answer or ask questions dahil ang session na ito ay para sa atin. So, I hope there will be questions also from online. So, okay, Sir Gomar?
Thank you, Sir Justin. So, we have also saying that our youth are the future of agriculture. So, that's why we have our participants, a young minds and a young, we have a questions, ma'am. Can you take your name?
Hello, so I'm Marian of Urban Farmers PH po. Hindi ko na alam kung youth pa ako, no? But I have 2 questions lang po for the speakers today. So one po, how can we make these smart farming technologies presented earlier more accessible to the youth or young farmers in a more concrete manner po? And my second question naman po would be, what would your advice be for young professionals looking to career shift into agriculture and where to start? Marami kasi kami na-encounter yung ganun. Thank you.
Okay, would like to answer.
Alright. Hi. So, thank you for the question, Ms. Marian. So, first question is how are we going to make a complete setup? So, as I mentioned, I think one way to convince the youth is we need to know what is their interest point. Because once, kapag ka isang tao interesado sa isang bagay, kahit gano'ng kahirap yan, once na may pakita mo sa kanya, mag-excel siya. So I think one of our attack point is we need to identify what is the interest of the youth when it comes to agriculture. Then based on that, as I mentioned, we can make a tailor-fit curriculum, meaning to say we will adjust based on your interest, and we can design a curriculum based on different type of mindset of the youth. So I think we can do adjustment, and we can, key point is how we can touch the interest of our youth.
For me naman, dapat yung young professional ma-realize na yung farming ay hindi siya yung madumi. No? Kailangan maintindihan niya na ang farming ay hindi naman ibig sabihin na ikaw yung magbubukal ng lupa. Okay? Pwede kang farmer ka pa rin na ikaw yung nag-iisip ano ang gagawin sa farm. So, pwedeng may tao pa na gagawa, pero ikaw yung gumagawa ng diskarte. Kasi ikaw yung nag-aral, ikaw yung exposed sa labas, ikaw yung marunong paano gumawa ng pera. Therefore, yun dapat yung trabaho mo sa farm. So, yung paggawa, yung pagbukal, pwede kong gumamit ng machineries, pwede kang gumamit ng tao, pwede kang gumamit ng habit, di ba? But yung idea, paano kikita yung farm, manggagaling sa'yo. As the young professional na na-expose sa labas, nakakuha ng bagong idea, babalik ka sa farm, at i-cultivate, palalaguin yung farm business ng family niyo.
Thank you so much for those answers. So, nakikita natin na it's really not just isang going back no, yung sa farming na may concept tayo, may connotation tayo, no? It's different nowadays. So marami na tayong pwedeng gawin being part of the value chain of agriculture, in which the youth can be part of and work towards, no, para mas fulfilling, no, para sa kanila. So thank you for that. Are there other questions? Ms. Just, on that side, meron po ba tayong mga tanong?
Okay, I thought wala na po, but may humahabol. So, the question from an anonymous person is, how do you prevent misinformation in social media to protect farmers and the agricultural industry as a whole?
I think that's addressed to Sir Buddy.
Actually, ang daming content creator na guilty for that, no? Ang daming gumagawa ng content na lagi nilang sinasabi na magtanim ka ng talong kasi magiging milyonaryo ka. Laging gano'n. So, ang daming nanonood kasi magiging milyonaryo daw, di ba? Pero, posibleng totoo, pero hindi niya kuwento ano yung struggles, ano yung napakadaming problema para makakuha ka ng milyon na kita sa pagtatanim ng talong. Okay? So, ang daming problems. Like kanina, sinabi na ang farming is profession of hope. Umaasa ka na tutubo yung seeds mo. Tumubo yung seeds mo, umaasa ka na magiging maganda yung bunga. Maganda yung bunga, umaasa ka na may ibebenta mo. Pag naibenta mo ba ng tama na masaya ka doon sa presyo? So, ang dami-daming problema na hindi sinasabi ng maraming content creators. So, in my end, kinukwento namin yun lagi. Even me myself, no, nag-try ako ng farming. It's a problem. I've been teaching agriculture through TV shows since 1991. So ang tagal-tagal na up to now nagtuturo pa rin ako paano mag-farming. Pero nung ako nag-farming, ang dami kong natutunan na hindi ko alam. Diba? So, yun, kinikwento ko sa vlog ko yun. Para yung mga tao na nasa abroad, nakita nila, ay, ang bilis pa lang kumita sa pagtatanim ng coconut. Ang bilis pa lang kumita sa pagtatanim ng gabi. Diba? Kailangan nilang malaman yung totoong kwento na ang daming problema bago ka kumita ng pera.
Thank you, Sir Buddy. Maybe, Sir Chris, you have some words for that question.
The question is how to overuse information. Yun ang sagot ni Sir Vance.
Okay. Thank you, Sir Chris. But with the answer ni Sir Buddy, mas maging realistic, kumbaga ipakita yung totoong mukha. It's not that bad to really be multifaceted in terms of telling a story. Yun yung parang pinakakwento eh. Kasi ang success naman ng isang tao, especially in the field of agriculture, is not just a one straight line. So you have to really show all the struggles, the process, and everything in between para mas damang-dama ang success, no? Pagdating na. Sabi nga nila, sumakses din. So, yun. So, thank you for that. Maybe on this side, baka may question. Sir, the gentleman in the front, there's a question on this side.
Thank you, sir, for recognizing me. Ako po ulit si Chris from DepEd. Maganda yung tanong kanina ni Ma'am eh. So, how to make agriculture and fisheries, I think, to make it more concrete. Actually, what we did in DepEd ay nag-offer kami ng new elective subjects such as this is for senior high school, yung agro-entrepreneurship, to promote or to educate our learners that you can do business in agriculture. But sadly, ang enrollment namin sa ngayon sa agriculture, pasensya na po, I'll give you context when it comes to numbers or data. Ang enrollment po ng senior high school natin sa ngayon ay nag-aaral ng technical professional track ay 1,168,349. And sadly, ang enrollment natin sa agriculture and fisheries ay 94,654. So, if you will get the percentage, that's 8.1% only. So, ang akin po sana ay appealing to everyone. This PagSipol is a good platform para magkaroon ng harmonization of efforts. Pag po doon sa ating mga industry partners, pag po may kumatok sa inyong pintuan na let's say gusto pumartner sa inyo, please share your technologies and practices to the basic education learners. Para nang sa ganun, tulong-tulong po tayo, mapataas po natin yung enrollment sa agriculture. Yun lang po, maraming salamat.
Thank you, sir, for sharing that insight. No? It's also a way forward to strengthen po yung linkage ng the formal education and the non-formal education sector sa agriculture. No? Para mapataas natin ang not only the interest, and syempre yung actual action. No? Nakikita rin namin yung in my personal experience po sa mga schools, we're always asking elementary schools na mayroong technical vocational subjects. And parang sa pag-deliver nila in a week, 1 hour lang yung allotment. So, if that's correct, yung recall ko, 4 hours. So, how would they really appreciate that? So, sana mas, pa siya, lumawa. And Sir Buddy?
Can I add to that, sir? Kasi, I think, yung problem kasi nanggagaling mismo sa family, from the parents. Kasi yung parents mismo nagsasabi na, kung kumuha ng ganitong kurso, maging ganito ka, maging ganyan ka. Hindi discourage na, especially kung farmer, ang parents, sasabihin ng parents, kailangan mag-aral ka, hindi ka pwedeng maging farmer kasi napakahirap ng maging farmer. Yun ang sinasabi ng parents kasi lagi siyang hindi kumikita. Diba? So, ganun. So, yung mind ng bata, paano ba siya mag-enroll ng agriculture? Yung parents siya mismo dinidiscourage siya. So, kailangan, mabago rin yun, yung konsepto na yun. Mabago yung konsepto na yun kung yung parents mararanasan nila na kumikita talaga sila sa farming. And yung bata, kung nag-aral siya ng agriculture, siya yung babalik at magsasabi sa parents niya, ito yung bago nating gagawin.
That's correct, sir. No? Also believing doon sa concept na, well, if I can borrow that, it takes a village to build maybe a farmer or an agriculturist na maybe we can heal the gap sa schools, but sa bahay pa lang medyo meron ng issues. No? We can not maximize yung benefits. So it's also a call to action maybe. No, na yung mga nanonood po natin mga parents, wag po nating hayaan ng mga anak natin na mag-agriculture, and syempre mabago na din yung kaisipan na agriculture is not necessarily hard, but it's a passion na very lucrative and something to be proud of. Yun siguro. I think there's a question here, Sir Chin.
Sir, in addition po sa conversation sa agriculture, so it's been a challenge for agriculturists to market agriculture talaga sa ating mga kabataan. And out of curiosity during my college days, we had conducted a study to see and to know ano kayang mga influence na that makes their decision na nag-conclude sila na ganun po. So, it was found out that it highlights young people often see farming as unattractive because of how it is portrayed in mainstream media, like in teleseries po, sir, and in movies perhaps na there are portrayals of farmers na mahirap, inaapi, mga ganun po. So it has been instilled in the young minds ng mga kabataan na they don't want to be, aside from what you've mentioned, sir, na the influence of the parents, no? It has been instilled in their minds na ayaw nilang maging farmer because they do not want to be treated like that or what they have seen in the mainstream media. So, my question po is, what do you think what are the strategies that you can see, given your wider perspective in this context, on how to change the narrative of the mainstream media, or how can we influence this? Because Filipinos are the #1 consumers of social media, and they spend so much time in their Facebook accounts or in whatsoever form of media they consume so much that they have in school. So, what is your say on that, sir?
Sa akin po sa channel ko, two things yung ginagawa ko doon. Natuturo kami ng instructional, paano gagawin yung specific technologies like the iba. And marami kaming content na inspirational, mga success stories, yung tipong parents dating nakatira sa guluman ng baboy, ngayon nakatira sa mansion, things like that. Nakaka-inspire talaga siya. No? Kailangan maraming ganong kwento na totoong experience nila na sinishare nila para ma-encourage yung public.
Napakaganda na, sir. Striking a balance with hitting the mind and hitting the heart, no? With education and passion or purpose. So thank you for that, sir. To continue the discussion, we really love to hear more about the wisdom of our speaker. So I have more questions here. Unless there are other questions from the group. Sa online po ba, meron pong nagtatanong ba? Okay, so I think we go back to more questions here. For Sir Buddy, coming from your discussion po kanina, I've seen the engagement part. You mentioned kasi po, parang mas maraming lalaki nanonood instead or rather than women. And based on statistics then, reflecting sa agriculture sector, there are really lesser women working for agriculture than men. But with your platform, sir, how can we maximize that and turn that into an opportunity na mas maraming women's stories naman yung mas ma-feature para ma-inspire din ang maraming young women farmers?
Well, actually, yun nga, if you're going back to the statistics, yung statistics kasi magsasabi, ano yung next na gagawin mo. Now, dahil yung lumalabas doon sa statistics ay majority men yung nanonood, pero gusto mong i-target yung women, therefore, mag-create ka ngayon ng content na interested yung women. Let's say, for example, dun sa vlogging, kausap mo yung lalaki about the actual farming. Diba? And sometimes ginagawa ko dun sa vlog ko, yung wife ko, papakausap ko dun sa wife. Pag-uusapan naman nila yung buhay-buhay sa loob ng kusina. ano ba ang perspective ng nanay na asawa ng isang farmer. So, lumalabas yun na lang. Kung gusto mong mag-balance yung statistics mo, then create more content like that. Parang mag-balance siya.
Napakaganda. Napakaganda po nun, Sir Buddy. Thank you for that. Now, this time to Sir Chris. No, based on your experience again, no, I would like to know more po dun sa part ng challenges since relatively then so venturing in agriculture is a new concept, maybe a new venture. So, ano po yung mga challenges na experience ninyo, practical challenges, operational challenges in terms of teaching these young people, and what do you recommend po para siguro maiwasan ng iba who's also interested to do that approach?
So, actually yung first challenge namin, since we come from automotive industry, totally zero knowledge kami when it comes to agriculture. So, at the beginning, at those talaga kami kung paano namin gagawin yung first approach namin, how we can penetrate the agriculture. So, as a first step, we try to get consultant. We try to discuss with the expert, and coming from him, we try to learn. Then, after we learn, we try to identify what are our strengths. Saan ba kami malakas? Saan ba yung kaya namin ibigay? Then, based on that concept, we try to reach out. Sino naman yung nangangailangan ng strength namin? And paano nila ma-appreciate or paano mag-benefit yung sector na ito doon sa strength namin. So that kind of strategy, yun yung ginamit namin kasi we cannot support someone na hindi rin kami expert. So as a first step, in-identify namin ano ba yung kaya mong ibigay, ano ba yung kaya nila makuha per group, and ano ba yung pangangailangan nila. So I think this three factor is very important before we can really penetrate the agriculture.
Thank you. Napaka-gandang wisdom na, especially for the young people, that you cannot offer a drink with an empty cup. So you have to see first what you have in store, and then ask help from others who will fill that cup for you, and capitalize on that para mas prepared and stock up in future operations. So, napakalaganda po ng wisdom na yun. And maybe we can have a very good final words from our very good speakers. So let me ask this question for you. So, looking forward, what other emerging trends or perhaps technologies or strategies na nakikita, napapansin po natin, you think can redefine the way young people in the Philippines must learn about, participate in, or advocate in urban agriculture? So siguro medyo foresight po ito, sir. Ano yung mga maganda nating tingnan na dapat tingnan din ng kabataan in this aspect? Meron po ba tayong mga siguro wisdom din na pwedeng i-share doon? Anyone who would like to go first?
I think it will start from, we need to set the direction. Kailangan natin malaman sa mga youth sector natin, for example, 10 years or 20 years from now, anong klaseng direction ba yung gusto nila? Anong klaseng Pilipinas ba? Anong klaseng agriculture sa Pilipinas ba ang gusto nila? Then based on that, let us try to find ano yung way natin para ma-achieve yung direction nila. Ano yung vehicle natin para makapunta tayo sa direction na gusto natin puntahan. You know, without the direction, hindi natin ma-anticipate yung future natin. Hindi tayo makakapag-forecast kung wala tayong tinatarget na goals sa hinaharap. So that's why it is very important na at first, yung youth sector natin, they need to know, they need to understand from themselves ano yung direction nila. And from there, how can we support? Paano ko tutulungan si youth na together with us from the old age, the old sector, then together, paano tayo pare-parehas makakarating doon sa direction na gusto natin kahain para sa agricultural solutions.
Thank you for that, Sir Chris, Sir Buddy.
I think for me, kailangan talagang ma-realize ng bawat kabataan na magandang pagkakitaan ng agriculture. Na talagang kikita. Dapat talaga kasi makita nila yan eh. Unless hindi nila makita na madaling kumita ng pera sa agriculture, hindi talaga sila yan ma-attract. Hindi sila, especially yung younger generation ngayon, sobrang impatient. Sobrang konting work lang, pero kailangan kumita ng malaki. Dapat ganun ang na-experience nila para i-embrace nila yung agriculture.
So, two words I think, a foresight and paradigm shift, in regarding what agriculture is about. So, napakagandang discussion po yan. So, at this point, siguro palakpakan po natin ang ating mga speakers for this afternoon, and we thank you for sharing your valuable insights and experiences today. And we have heard such an engaging discussion on, first, with Sir Buddy, exploring the power of social media to promote and scale up agricultural development by highlighting the trends, strategies, and practical ways to engage our audiences, raise awareness, and enhance the visibility and responsiveness of the Philippine agriculture value chain. And second, providing us a glimpse through Sir Chris, non-formal agriculture education in the Philippines, which focus on methods to engage young learners and integrate this agriculture knowledge into learning frameworks and nurture early interest in farming and agribusiness. And the diversity of their perspectives has enriched, hopefully, our understanding and sparked more meaningful ideas to move forward. So, thank you everyone as well for your thoughtful questions, sharing, and very active participation. And lastly, before we conclude, may the knowledge shared today inspire continuous dialogue and action towards youth and nation building through urban agriculture development. And I'm leaving the note that sabay-sabay po natin iangat ang agrikultura sa Pilipinas. So, thank you for this session.
Agribusiness merch is now available on Shopee and Lazada. Agribusiness, how it works. Instruct, inspire, succeed.